Hello, everybody. Jack Olmsted, digital reporter, coming to you from Port Townsend, Washington. We got gray skies. It's kind of drippy here. And welcome to another Google Hangout. Today, my guest is Nathyn Mull. He's coming to us from Great Bend, Kansas. How's it going today, Aaron?
Yeah, it's going well. How are you doing?
Okay. Tell us about the weather. I always like
Uh,
to hear about the weather.
Let me see. The weather through the window, it's pretty clear. It's actually not too bad. Haven't gone outside yet today, which I should probably do after this, but it's been pretty nice here, so.
Great. Springtime in
Yes,
Kansas in Great Bend.
definitely.
And your partner in crime, the artist behind the project, the mini documentary, the short documentary, What It Takes. It's Nathyn Medina. How's it going, Nathyn? And you're coming to us from San Antonio, Texas.
Yes, that is correct. It's
The
good.
weather, the weather report. I like to hear the weather report.
Right now it is 72 in San Antonio, which is really good for this time of year. It's usually already this early, could be like in the 80s and 90s, so it's really good right now. Slight breeze, which is nice.
Slight breeze.
Yes.
Okay, so let's launch right into the reason why we're here, and that is your documentary, your mini documentary, short documentary, What It Takes. And you had the idea for this, Aaron. Why don't you start us off? How did it all start?
Yeah. It all started actually right around Vidcon is when I chatted with the Dan Dobie, the director of Please Subscribe, and I told him I hadn't watched his film yet, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna download it and watch it on the plane ride home, and he's like, oh, that's awesome, and I ended up not being able to download it because I didn't have Wi-Fi through the Hilton, and I didn't want to use up all my data, and so on the plane ride home, all I could think about was that talk that I had with him, and then it really sparked when I did watch the film. I watched it shortly after coming home, and then I was like, man, I want to do something on a much smaller scale than this, and still kind of have a similar style and feel to it. And so Chloe, one of the people that's in our film, contacted me one night, and she said, you know, I'm in a Google Hangout with a couple of my friends. Do you want to join? And I hadn't met them yet, and so I was like, yeah, sure. And so once I got in that Google Hangout, I think we had a few after that before I actually pitched the idea to you guys, but I knew like this could be the four people, including myself, to do this project, and so that's kind of how it all started in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And Nathyn, how did you get involved?
Well, like you said, I was one of those people in that Google Hangouts. I know Chloe. It's funny because Chloe is like the person that brought us all together. I met Chloe through the same thing. She invited me to a Google Hangout months before this. I actually met Chloe and Emily, the other person in this doc, at VidCon. So it was really nice to have met them, and then I started having Google Hangouts when we become, you know, internet friends, which I consider them some of my best friends now. They were like, hey, Chloe was like, I'm gonna invite my friend Aaron into this Google Hangout, and we're always just like, yeah, more people. And we did that, and we hit it off like right away. Like it's just like great personalities. We were joking, and the Google Hangouts. What would you say? We had one like every week, every other week, something like that.
Oh yeah, sometimes for sure we'd have one, every other week, and then sometimes we'd go a month without having one. Well, maybe not a month, but yeah, we had them quite often.
Yeah, and then I don't know when. I know we had one. We weren't. All of us were not doing anything on New Year's Eve, and I think we had a Google Hangout that night. And I don't know if that's the day we started talking about it, or if we started talking about it a little bit before that.
It was before that. I know the New Year's Eve thing. I know Emily wasn't in there for that. That was just Chloe. But yeah, I had a New Year's Eve party, and then after it was just like super late, and everyone was like, "What are we doing?" And since Chloe's on a different time zone, we all were in there for New Year's Eve for her, and that's kind of when the whole project. I was like, okay, we need to initiate this. It's already January. Like, I want to get this out before VidCon, and I had pitched the idea way before, but it kind of just went. I don't know. It didn't go over you guys' heads, but I think right around that time is when I was just like, we need to make this happen, and that's kind of when the ball started rolling on it. So yeah.
So Aaron, can you give us your pitch? What was the pitch?
The pitch, I don't remember it exactly in words, but I remember just saying, so what did I say? Do you remember, Nathan? I was just like, so guys, I want to make.
Yeah. Go for it.
I just said something along the lines of, you guys, I know we all don't know each other very well, but I want to make something like Please Subscribe. First, I asked if everyone had seen Please Subscribe, and not everyone had, and but I had pitched the idea that we need to make a documentary that kind of just like shows all the work that we put into each of our videos, because I had seen each of the videos of all of the people, and you know, I see Nathan put so much into his videos, and him in particular having the least amount of subscribers at the time than all of us. I was just like, he works so hard on his videos, and I was like, people need to see on such a small scale all the work that goes into it, even though we don't get the views that, you know, larger YouTubers get, which is fine, but I just wanted to show that. And so I pitched the idea that we need to show kind of the behind the scenes of it all and then throw it into a big documentary. And I told them that I would edit it so it didn't scare them. Yes. And they all said yes, but it took a few Google Hangouts.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things. When he told me the idea, I was all on board. Ooh, frog in my throat. I was all on board because when he mentioned Please Subscribe, I got to actually see kind of the premiere of Please Subscribe at Playlist Live, is when they kind of filmed some of it at Playlist. And I saw it premiere, and I absolutely loved it. And just like Aaron said, I got to talk to Dan Dobie myself as well. Thought it was such a great documentary because, you know, I love YouTube myself, and then I just got to see more of these lives of these creators that I love. And when he said he wanted to make a smaller version of it, I was on board. I told him, I was like, I will put in 110%. I think the reason why Aaron and I connect so well is we both, I think before we even knew what YouTube really was, we both had major like aspirations to be filmmakers, and we still have those aspirations. But that kind of just like drove this, because we were like, let's be professional about it. Let's try to be the best we can with this doc. And you know, that's why we both put in the amount of work we did. And so I was in it the moment he told me. I was like, let's do it. And kind of what happened.
Yeah.
So Nathan, you've been to Playlist Live in Florida. You've also been to Vidcon.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've been to both.
You've been to both.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you been to Vidcon? How many times have you been to Playlist?
Twice, both times actually. I went to Vidcon was my first convention of any type of convention ever, and I absolutely fell in love with it. The one thing I tell people about conventions, Vidcon in particular, is it is the one place where you will go and you're just surrounded by people that are like you. Because I say it in my video how I feel a lot of us are like the island of misfit toys, because maybe we weren't the most popular, we weren't like, you know, high school jocks or anything like that. We're just like, I'm in the corner, hey people. But on YouTube, we really come out of our shells. And YouTube is, I mean, the VidCon was just filled with people like that. I was so comfortable just to like take out my camera and film, which in my city I'm not, because I feel like everybody's just staring at me. And then so I fell in love with VidCon. I was like, I'm going to go to Playlist because it's another convention. They're both very different. To anybody that wants to go to a convention, they're both very different. They both have good qualities. But I don't know. I've been to both the last time because I just like to mingle with friends and meet new people, and that's why I went to the last two. I will be going to VidCon again this year. With actually all three of us are actually, all four of us I should say, are road tripping to VidCon, which is going to be a really great experience. We just did the doc, and now we're going to road trip to VidCon, which is going to be amazing.
Cast party.
Mm-hmm.
When you say road trip, you're in a van, you're road tripping together? Someone's going to pick you all up? Is that how it's going?
What is Chloe? I don't know what Chloe drives, but we're all flying out to Vegas, which is where Chloe's at. I don't know. She doesn't care that we tell people that she's in Vegas. We're all flying out to Vegas and then driving from there in Chloe's car, so yeah. Yeah.
We should mention that Emily is from Minnesota, so we were all in different states while making this project. Mm-hmm. So I'm not too sure what city Emily is in, though.
How about time zones? Are you guys in the same time zone?
All of us but Chloe.
Yeah, all of us but Chloe, yeah.
Was that an issue with Chloe? Did she sometimes not be able to show up because it was too early, too late?
No, well, I think that was a good thing about the Glide app that we used to create the project majority of the time, is that we had a group Glide and we were like, hey girls, we are doing this, or, you know, when me and Aaron were doing like a lot of the project work, we would inform the girls throughout the project. And Glide, you can go back and check out as many videos as you want. So they would keep them informed.
Well, let's show off Glide.
Okay. Wait, do you have that pulled up? Yeah, we'll mention what we did here. So Glide is this app that's free on your phone. It works with Android because I have Android. He has iPhone. And it's this live video sharing, video chatting app where you can film anything you want for a minute and a half, and it dings in on the other person, whoever you're going to. It's maybe has a 3-second delay. And we would share like what we were doing with the project through Glide if we weren't doing Google Hangouts to keep each other updated, because it's just better than sending a text, because you can really just talk to someone. And so we would send updates all the time through Glide, and it's been really nice not being on Glide since we've been done, because it's just we were so involved with it. But
well, this is one of Aaron's videos. I'm not too sure what he was talking about, but you can see that there's 3 people on the top, and that showcases everybody that's in the group Glide, and whoever's talking, of course, is not included. But that was just one of Aaron's messages. He was probably giving us an update about the doc and just all the editing process. Did we edit in, what, like a week? When did we start the editing process?
Oh, gosh.
I know with the last week we edited very heavily.
Yeah. So. The crazy thing about the editing is I took a trip right before the editing when I wanted to start the editing, like at the beginning of April, and I just knew, like, I'm going to go on this trip, this little vacation to see some of my friends at their college town, and then I'm going to come back and work really hard on this doc. And I came back, and I don't know if you remember, Nathan, but I wasn't feeling too well.
No.
I don't know. It wasn't like I wasn't sick, but I wasn't feeling like getting in front of the computer for a few hours and editing. So I was burning days. Like I burned about 4 days just kind of hanging around. I did some like file management stuff and got stuff lined up, but as far as like the bulk of the editing, I would say it was done in like 9 days.
Yeah.
It really kicked in, and then up until like 2 hours before it released.
Oh man, those last few. Well, we had to get into that later, but I think I know you were in a slump. I think it's when I started showing you the poster is when you were like, yeah, this is looking great, because we had to start getting names. And then when I think I showed him the poster idea. I don't know if it was that or if it was something else.
Nathan, bring up the poster.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, hold on. I'll talk about it a little bit. I got to bring up Adobe Illustrator real quick. But the poster, yes. The poster, the idea I had for it, originally I was going to go with just a whole poster with nothing but names on it. I'm bringing it up right now. It was going to originally just be faces and then what it takes and have our names on it. But then I thought of, I really love typography, and I wanted to incorporate that somehow. And I did that with, all right, let me go ahead and get on screen share real quick.
While Nathan is bringing that up, Aaron, what it takes, who came up with the name?
That was me, yeah. I just wanted to show what it takes for smaller YouTubers, and I don't know. Yeah, I think it fits, but I think we probably could have came up with something different, but I think we just stuck with it. I like it now that it's been out, but yeah, I came up with the name.
Do you now know what it takes?
Yeah, I think everyone, if they watch, will see a little bit of what it takes for each person, because you know, we talk about the stuff that we go through in our normal lives, like Emily with, you know, being in school still, she has to go through all that in order to still do videos, and so I think it does kind of capture. I think it does. The title's good for it, so yeah, I think it fits.
Yeah, let's see. So I got the poster pulled up now. Yeah. I'm on screen share, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the original idea was going to be something similar to this. I was going to go with like a vertical, traditional poster. This is actual poster size, by the way. It is 24 by 36. So I started the poster. It was going to originally just be a bunch of faces on YouTube and say what it takes. But then I got the idea of doing typography, and I went ahead and it eventually turned into this. But I started building all the names through this very simple YouTube template. Everybody knows the play button for YouTube, and I wanted to create everybody that was going to be in this doc, whether they were going to be in it for half a second to 4 or 5 minutes, like a lot of us were. I wanted to go ahead and incorporate everybody I could, so we had to start getting permission from everybody. And one thing about this poster is every name that is on this poster, which although some of them are hard to see, they all gave us permission to use their stuff in this doc, and I want to say we included what 95% of everybody, maybe 98.
Oh man, at least 98.
Yeah, there were some people that weren't able to make it into it, whether that be their videos were just gone or they didn't have videos with their faces in them, just various things.
Yeah.
But a majority of these people were in here, like 98%, like we said. The poster probably took me about, what would you say, like a week, Aaron? I don't know. I was constantly updating it. It
was like 3 days of just kind of like building the idea and bouncing it off, like just throwing the idea back at me and me being like, oh, that's cool. But then like it was like 4 solid nights of just like intense working, and he was sending me, of course, glides, showing me, sending me texts with the picture, and I was just like, wow, he's really working hard. And I think that is kind of what sparked, like, that lit a fire for me to, you know, I got to edit this. And I didn't even have all the footage at the time. I don't think I had all of Chloe's, but it still really helped me. It motivated me to get the ball rolling on it. I was like, wow, this is coming out in like 13 days. I better hurry. So it was really cool getting all those people, all their permissions.
Our production schedule didn't go as planned. Chloe and I were both going to Playlist that just passed here in March, or a month ago. Both of us were going to Playlist, so our original plan was to have all our footage done before Playlist Live, and that did not happen. Did Chloe? I think Chloe might have sent it the week after Playlist. I'm not too sure. I sent very little footage before Playlist. But I did send all the artwork. That was my biggest thing. I did a solid week of just art every night after I got off work. I work 40, 50 plus hours a week, and so every time I got off work, I automatically just came home and started just doing artwork. I think, Aaron, you can show them some of the artwork if you have it.
Yeah. This is all the stuff, if they've seen it, this is all the stuff that was in the intro, the stop motion stuff. These are all just iPad. We wanted to go with kind of a cardboard theme throughout the entire thing with the intro and the transitions and stuff. And so Nathyn, these aren't as intricate as some of the other things, but using the X-Acto knife to cut through some of this, I was like, wow, he must have worked hard, because he even cut out little tripods with cardboard, and I was just like, wow. But yeah, he worked really hard on that, and I'm really glad he got that to me before Playlist, because I was doing tests of what I kind of wanted the intro to look like, and so that was really nice, even though I didn't have all the footage, just to be able to mess with that and get that going. But
so that was one of our biggest things, and it's funny looking back on it that we had so many intricate ideas that we had to like stop and take a break and be like, we need to simplify this. We were doing way too much, and I think we ultimately love what we came up with. We simplified it, and it's great. It's a project we were very proud of.
Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
What are some of the lessons that you learned?
I think right there is to just take a step back from something every now and then and just look at it as if it is the first time you're looking at it, because like he said, we got very intricate with it because we knew there were certain things we could probably pull off, but they didn't need to be done in order for it to be good. I think one of the transitions we had in mind was to have someone, because we wanted it to start off on a new device to show all how YouTube's is being seen on all different devices nowadays, on TVs, tablets, iPhones, and so we wanted to start on a device and end on a new device, and to show that. And we were going to do this thing where we passed it off to another person, like they were walking by each other in the park, pass it off or something like that, or no, it was this girl's watching it on the bench, and then all of a sudden it fades off to this guy walking by with his iPhone, and then you see the next person on the iPhone, and that would have involved a ton of keyframing and all that crazy stuff, and we just had to take a step back and simplify. And so I think that's a big thing we learned, and then also just not being afraid to just listen to each other and bounce ideas off each other. So
yeah, that's the one thing I've talked to Aaron about in the very last minutes of this project was I've worked with a lot of people throughout my life on projects, and I've never felt that the person had as much passion as I did. It's not knocking that person, but this is probably the one thing that I have is filmmaking. And when I met Aaron, he was the first person that was able to that had as much passion, if not more passion, on a project than I did, and that kept me going. When he was showing me like, dude, we could do this, or like, that's a great idea. What if we did this? Or, oh, dude, we can totally evolve it this way. Like, it was just so good to have somebody else's input, and I think that's why this project came together and became as great as it is because we both just put in equal amount of work. Like, nobody did more than anybody else. And it was, I think it was also just a great balance because I've said this in my videos constantly. I hate editing, and Aaron loves it. So when he told me I'll edit, I'm like, done. I'm in 100%. And I do not like editing. He says he loves it, and I was like, I could do the artwork. Aaron was like, go for it. That's awesome. And we just had a perfect balance on this project, and I think that's why it worked so well.
Definitely.
How about the girls that were also involved with this? Did they do anything else except provide you with footage?
Oh yeah, I mean, they helped a lot with getting people's permission because they know a lot of the people in the community that we might not have known, and so they did a lot. And I think, speaking for both of the girls, they're so busy. I know Chloe's got a lot of stuff going on right now, so just for her to be able to do it was awesome. And I know, like I said, Emily being in high school still, I was asking a lot because I sent out memory cards, my own personal memory cards, had them film on the memory cards, had them send back. And like for instance, this is Chloe's memory card. These are both Nathyn's 64 gig cards that I have to send back. And so yeah, they did a lot. And I think for how busy they were, I'm just so glad that they were able to do what they did and get it to me in time and stuff. So no, they did a lot for sure.
Yeah. They the girls, we should mention, are younger. They're both still teenagers, right? Chloe's
Chloe's 18 and
Chloe's 18.
Emily's,
I think Emily's 18, 17.
She's about to turn 18, I think.
Girls, if you're watching this. I don't know your ages right away.
She turns 18 right before VidCon.
Oh, yes, I believe so. Yes. So Emily's very big into theater. She talks about it in her section in the doc. And she was shooting plays like every weekend, right? I think that's why she couldn't get us her footage very quickly.
She was in a play up until like 2 weeks before she filmed and stuff, so she was really busy. Yeah.
And then Chloe had, besides this project, she had another major project she's working on, and they both took up a lot of time. And we were very happy that she was able to get us the footage. And she was also sick. Like, if you ever go to Playlist, the one thing you need to be aware of is there's this thing called the Playlist Plague, and it usually happens to people that go there for the first time. It's all conventions, of course, but it's just so well named. It's called the Playlist Plague. I got it the first time I went to Playlist. You just get really sick. I don't know what happens. It's just because there's so many people in this convention hall. But I got very sick the first time. This was her first time at Playlist. She was sick for like a week, I think, and she was not film. Yeah, that's why she says it right at the beginning.
She sounds actually so much different than she does in the and so I felt really bad. I was like, oh man, you know, she sounds sick. But I wanted to, in the beginning of her section, she mentions that she's sick before she even started talking, and so I was like, I'm gonna add that so people will know. But yeah, she was sick, but she fought through it. So
yeah, the girls helped us out so much. They're just, I think, I don't know. I would agree that they probably, YouTube is way more their like part of their lives than it is like mine or Aaron's maybe. Although it's a really big part of ours, but it's kind of, they grew up in the YouTube era. Like, I found it later, and I found out what it was. It seems like they've been watching forever. I'm just like, awesome.
They know so many more people, and so that's another thing. They contacted a lot of the people that allowed us to use their clips, and so I was just like, wow, there's 90-some people I'm gonna have to download videos from. I was like, that's a good thing that's a good problem to have, and so they helped us out a lot. So it was a good balance.
How is their passion for the project?
Oh, amazing! It was so amazing for the girls to be on board. Because like I think the great thing about this, although we all lived in different states, we all enjoy each other's company. I mean, we're taking a road trip together for one thing, but like we all really care for each other, and it was just great. We all had the same passion for this project, and everybody showed it in different ways, which was really amazing. Like I said, me and Aaron, we told the girls from the start, we're like, we will do a lot of the work. Like, just get us your footage, and anything else you can will be great. They tweeted out the video. They supported it. They have larger audiences, because they both are in the thousands of subscribers, so they reach a lot more people than Aaron and I do. So they were very big in promotion after we did everything. So they equally did just as much work too. Like it was so great.
They had a lot of passion, yeah.
How many subscribers do you have, Nathan, on your YouTube channel?
I am approaching 500. I'm at like 493 right now, I think.
And Aaron, you're a little over 500?
I think so at this point. Yeah, this project pushed me just a little bit over. I think like 530 or something like that. Now I was at like around 490 when it started. So yeah.
Now I watched one of your videos about 4 years ago, and you were talking about, hey, when I get to have 50 subscribers, 50 subscribers, you're gonna have a contest or something.
Yeah.
You got 10x more than you did 4 years ago.
Yeah, I've come a long way. No, yeah, I was one of those guys that decided to try to do the giveaway videos to try to get a few more subs here. I never did the sub for sub. Subscribe to me and I'll subscribe to you. I did the competitions where I'd go out and buy a $10 iTunes card and say, when I get to 50 subs, I'll give out 3 of these or something. And so, no, that was a good time. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do those anymore.
And Nathan, how did you get all the way up to 500 subs? So you've been doing this. You've been going to Vidcon. You've been going to playlists. You've really been working to try and expand your presence on YouTube.
Yes, I have. I am the oldest of the doc. I'm actually 26, although I don't act 26 at all. But yes, I found YouTube. Like I said, I always had a filmmaker background. My friend introduced me to YouTube, like what actually YouTube really is, like the business part of it, and I was like, wow, I love that people were being themselves, yet that was their career, just basically being themselves and having fun. And I was like, I could do that, and I was like, I would love to do that. Although, like I say it in my doc, my portion of the doc is I did it to get out of my shell, and it really helped. And then I really just wanted to take it serious because I tried the whole college route. It wasn't for me. But if I could do something that I love, for a living, it would be amazing. But it's conventions, and I got a big boost from Olga K, who is a larger YouTuber. She's on like 700,000. I don't know. She's up there in numbers. And I made a video with my Andy character. And one night I was kind of feeling sick. I didn't want to make the video, but she tweeted me. She was like, yes, you can still submit. I was like, I got to now. So I submitted a video. She ended up picking it, and it was on the main stage at Playlist Live, and she posted the video on the internet. And I got about almost 100 subs from her crowd, which was really nice. Yeah, so I owe a lot of it to her. But just people that genuinely like my stuff stick around, they share it, and it's been a slow climb, but it's the beauty of YouTube, and it keeps you humble too. Like there are some people that just skyrocket, and they do stay humble and everything like that too. But some people just keep working at it, and I enjoy it. Like I just love making videos, so the numbers aren't too big a part of it for me, but it's just fun.
Aaron, why don't you talk about your T-shirt that you've got on, your fashion sense you're spouting today, Running Water. That was your first big documentary.
Right. Yeah, that was the first one, and it's funny because I just threw this on. I thought it was actually a different shirt, but yeah, this was designed by one of my friends I went to high school with. She did art, so this was kind of her part that Nathan did. I had her do. And she made this for us. This is just we made like 10 or 12 of these. I gave a few away on Twitter before we went out and did the run. But the Running Water documentary was just something that was kind of going on this time last year. I was training for it. That came about around March last year. I saw a video from Shay Carl, and he was talking to Matt Damon, and I was like, what is he? I saw the thumbnail with him and Matt Damon. I was like, what is he doing with Matt Damon? So I clicked on it and saw the water.org thing that they were doing, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Led me to their website, and I was like, man, I have to make a documentary about this, just to get the word out even more. And I thought, what can I do in this documentary to make it stand out a little bit? And they talk about how women in these countries travel upwards of 100 miles a day just to collect water. and I was like, I need to go on a run. And since I never did any running in high school, I played golf, so I was like, running is going to be a challenge. So I set a challenge to run from Alva, Oklahoma back to Great Bend, Kansas, and so I picked up my buddy that lives here in town with me, and we trained for it, and that's what this is. But yeah, that was kind of the first big project.
What are some of the lessons that you learned on running water that you were able to apply to the current project?
Oh man, as far as the technical side of things, I would say just the amount of footage. Once you get, because it's so different making, you know, a short, even under 10-minute video on YouTube. Your timeline is not as cluttered, and you don't have as much footage in there. And I think going into this project again, I knew, I was like, man, this is going to be, you know, Final Cut's going to be overloaded with so much footage, and so I knew, like, this is going to be another big one to where I'm going to have to make sure nothing crashes and goes wrong, and I have all the files in order, and it's just different than making a smaller video because there's just so much more to work with. So that's a thing I learned, is just to keep organized with this. And I still have the folder with all the footage on my computer right now. It's 192 gigs. So
192 gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a lot to go through.
100 of it's probably mine.
Yeah, it's a lot, but that's one thing I learned, is just to stay organized with bigger projects. As far as what I learned with the run, I don't know if I can apply it to anything with this, because that was just probably the hardest 5 days of my life, but some of the best. But as far as technically, I would probably say just to stay organized.
And so on that run, you had a headcam, and you had people shooting behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had well, I had like this fanny pack with me because we had a snake bite kit with us in it.
Snake bite? Did you see any snakes?
Yeah, we saw 3 or 4 just on the side of the road. I don't know what kind they were, but you never know what kind of snakes are going to be out there. So we were prepared. Just a little anti-venom kit where it's a suction cup type thing, and we had that in there. So we had the GoPro in there, and at times we'd throw it on and get some POV shots. And then we had these marathon gels with us, and so we had that kind of stuff. We had my sister and her fiance at the time. They're now married. They went along with us, and those were what you were seeing with all the other shots. They would drive, 10, 12 miles up the road, and that's where we'd meet up and have a checkpoint, refill our water packs, and they'd get some B-roll or some behind the scenes, and then they'd drive another 10, 12 miles and meet back up with us then. And so that's kind of how that all worked out. But it was a crazy time.
How many caffeine pills did you pop?
The caffeine, I think the caffeine pills is what made me so sick the first day. I didn't really use the caffeine pills too much after that. I think the marathon gels are what we use the most. Because when you're out there and you're sweating, you're losing all that like salt, and it just replenishes all this stuff, and you just feel better. They're nasty, but you just feel better. And so I think that's what we used the most of. We had like 50 of those. We didn't use them all, but yeah, we used a lot of those.
So the first day, I think I remember you crashed out in the van or tent or something. Did you have like portable shower, or would you just go to bed like in your salts and sweat?
We went to bed pretty disgusting each night. The thing is, we made sure we had a hotel the third night, and that was a blessing, because we weren't going to do that at first. We were just going to hack it for the 4 nights, 5 days. And I think that's what helps us actually be able to finish. But each night, prior to having the shower in the hotel, we had tons of water with us, just in gallons and jugs, and we would use very little amounts just to at least wash our faces and underarms and stuff. And it was a humbling experience, just not being able to really shower and stuff. And the whole experience alone, I can't even talk about it, but it was crazy. We didn't shower much. We smelled pretty bad.
Well, it's kind of ironic because you're doing this film about water, yet you're not cleaning yourself in water. You got very limited amount of water, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's why it was such an experience. I think is just we people don't have water, and so we kind of had, and I don't want to say we shared a similar experience, but we had a very limited amount of water, and so we were using it with knowing that we had to make it last all 5 days and still be able to use some of it to drink, and so the whole experience was, it all just came full circle, like, wow, this ended up being such a learning experience, and it was really difficult. So I think it all worked out. I'm pretty proud of that project as well. But yeah.
So you raise some money. You show up at the headquarters of water.org. Tell us about that experience.
That was awesome. I think when I was doing the research prior to actually doing the run, we were doing the interviews and stuff, and I realized that the actual headquarters was 4.5 hours away from my house, and I was like, we need to take the checks straight there, you know, and that would just make it that much cooler. And so we contacted water.org. I emailed them, and the head, I think PR, Jen Beard is her name, she contacted me and said, oh yeah, well, our doors are open, so just let us know when you want to come. And so I gave her a date, and we went up there, and they were all just super nice in there. They gave us some water bottles that I still have, and I signed the check.
Can you share with us the water bottles? Do you have any?
It is actually, yeah, I can go get it. I think it might be upstairs, that or it's in my car. But yeah, it's just a.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Sure. Why don't you run? And Nathyn, why don't you talk to us about Playlists Live in Florida this year? I heard it was a mob scene. The lines. How was your experience? I know that you didn't get the plague, but like 8,000 tickets, and you waited in line forever, and I heard people were crying. Moms were yelling because their kids were not getting to see their YouTube stars, and they waited in line forever. They took plane rides. I mean, Playlist Live. Tell me about it.
Okay, I actually, when I got back, I immediately did a rant video. I'm very, very key with my rant videos. I love to voice my opinions because a lot of people have those same opinions. And I kind of let Playlist have it. I'm not, I guess I could say it, I'm not returning next year because of that experience. One thing, the hotel is too small, and I believe Playlist is already going to move it. They're moving into a bigger hotel next year. But the thing is, it's not well organized. Is my opinion. Anybody that maybe works for Playlist that's watching this, it's not well organized. It's just, I don't understand how they had one, like the year before that was okay. It was maybe like 5,000 people. When you add 3,000 more people in the same space, it just doesn't work.
Actually, I attended that one, and it was more like 3,000 people. I think it was 25. Yeah. They were pushing 3,000, but it was like 2,500. I know that because I was working with a vendor at the time, and they were trying to, you know, goose up the attendance level.
Yeah, it was not. Oh, it was so bad.
So they almost tripled in size here.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, and then. I think just the way they went about it was just so terrible. They decided to put all of the YouTubers in one building and had security. Like, that's a total red flag. Like, all right, so they have to come out this door, so let's just wait out here and mob them. And I don't know if anybody that was at Playlist noticed, but there was like these like very nice flower patterns outside the hotels, completely flat and trampled by all of the fangirls that were waiting for a lot of the people out there. And I was just like, they were completely flat. And I was like, wow. And I just remember one key mob scene where it was a group of, I think it was the O2L boys who are very popular on YouTube. They were swimming in the pool, and there was just a crowd of girls around the whole pool, like just watching them swim. And I was just like, really? And I think some of the girls jumped in the pool to get like selfies with them or something. It was such a crazy experience. And then, yeah, they on the first day of the event, there was just, the crowds were ridiculous. You didn't know what line you were in. Everybody was like, what's line this? Like, I could have somebody in front of me and somebody behind me, and somebody could ask me, like, what line are you waiting for? I'd be like, I'm waiting for Grace Helbig. And the person in front of me could be like, oh, I'm waiting for Zoella. And the person could be behind me would be also saying, like, oh, I'm waiting for nobody knew what line they were in. And it was just so bad. and then they got the bright idea to use like tickets the next day, and they cut it off at 200, and then they didn't really tell the rest of the line until after they got those 200 people in, which it's like, okay, well, all right, that's I waited here an hour and a half, and now I'm not going to meet who I want to meet. So it was just so bad. Like, it was just not good. But I recommend everybody go to Vidcon instead. Plug for Vidcon.
VidCon's what's going to be pushing 12,000 attendees this year?
Yes, but the Anaheim Convention Center is just so big. It's so big, and they just they organize it so well. It is just so well organized. There's this, I mean, there's more people, but it feels just more intimate, which is really weird to say with that amount of people. But still at VidCon, I can find myself just bumping into some of my favorite YouTubers and having a chat. At Playlist, it's like, nope, not going to happen. So it's they're very different. So,
Aaron, did you find your water bottle?
I did not, but I do have this. This is like another cool thing that they sent me. It is. You're not going to be able to read it. It's a postcard from an actual.
We got to glare off the light.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's a postcard that they wrote from an actual well in Haiti.
Okay.
And they said, they said, before people here were drinking unsafe water from a spring, it's an exciting day for everyone, and it couldn't have happened without your guys' help. And they wrote it straight from there. And so I framed it up, and it's hanging on my wall. That's one of the coolest things I've gotten from actually doing a video, probably. So that's really cool. The water bottle itself, I think, actually might be at one of my friends' house. But yeah, that's something cool to kind of have from that project. So
you gave them a check for $1,100.
Yeah, something like that. Almost 1,200. Yeah, somewhere around there, some odd number. I should have just added the money and rounded it up to like 1,200, but yeah, something like that.
Do you know what exactly they did with it?
They said that they used it to open a well in Maribalis, Haiti. So
I thought that wells cost about $5,000, and it took about 2 years to do.
Right. Well, I guess the money. Okay, hold on. Let me just see. About the project this afternoon.
You're reading the
I guess
postcard?
it went towards it. It went towards it, I'm assuming. So
now,
I'm not sure.
I'm a big fan of iJustine, and every December, water.org is one of the programs that she supports.
Mm-hmm.
I
didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, and she raises about $10,000 every December, and $5,000 goes to one well.
Oh, wow.
And I called, I think, water.org to find out what happened with the money. Do they have any pictures that they could show the well that she helped build?
Mm-hmm.
And they said no, but they can send out GPS coordinates once the well is built, because it takes about 2 years or so. Did they give you any GPS coordinates of the well from Haiti so that you could like see through Google Maps the actual well?
No, I wish, because that would be kind of cool to see what it contributed towards. But they just sent me this. That's all they've sent me so far. But
oh, maybe you can contact them. You can show them this little clip of our hangout and say, "Can you send us the GPS coordinates?" And you can put a link in the description box below
that would be cool.
to actually see the well that your money helped build.
Oh man, that would be cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, trivia. The trivia you pick up watching YouTube videos.
Yeah, exactly.
And following YouTubers. So you're a YouTuber. Do people line up and see you, Nathyn, when you're at these events, like playlists?
No, well, I mean, like, being such a small YouTuber, you get like 1 or 2 people that are like, "Hey, you're that guy," and it's usually just that guy. And a lot of people have seen some of my videos, and they would like follow me on Twitter, and they would ask me if I'm going to playlists, and of course I try to respond to everybody I can. and then usually they meet up with me or something like that. I've had like 1 or 2 instances where I had no idea who the person was. I've never talked to them, and they came up to me and they're like, "Oh, you were in that video with so and so," and I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I usually try to talk to everybody I can. It's a nice experience just having one person know who you are that you've never met in your life. It's nice. It's a nice feeling.
But you have a whole ulterior persona for your channel. You put yourself in white paint and you got a wig.
Yeah. That's Andi.
Andi. So do you go to playlist as Andi?
I have not. No. Andi got her little fame from the Olga K video that I was in. She was the one. Olga had asked for the video she was doing was to showcase like a super fan, and so I was like, Andi could be a super fan. So I dressed up in my Andi getup, and I made this I'm a super Olga K fan, and she loved it. She put it in there, and now I believe, because it's so weird, like I can do all of that stuff in my room, but when I get out in the real world, I'm like, still a little in my shell. But I told Aaron, I was like, I think I'm taking Andi to VidCon, so anybody that's at VidCon may meet her in person. So
really, Andi's coming out at VidCon.
Yeah, more than likely. So, getting the courage to bring her out. She'll be making the trip for sure. Will she be in the VidCon floors? I don't know yet.
Are you going to be doing any meet and greets as Andi?
I mean, if people watch, and I'll stop and I'll talk to anybody. I mean, I'll tweet out like, "Hey, Andi is going to be here, people," and see if people show up. There's still a good amount of time between then. Some people started following my channel because of the doc and because of Olga K stuff. I might, if Olga K's having a meetup, I might go meet her as Andi. There's still a lot of time before VidCon. So.
When VidCon is July?
June 25th or 20. Is it 25th through 27th or 26th through 28th?
I think it's 26th through 28th. Yeah.
Yes, it is 26th through 28th. Yes.
It's like what, 6 weeks away?
Yes, it's very
Close.
soon.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Counting the days.
Yes, we are.
When do you leave for Las Vegas?
We all get to Vegas on the 24th.
24th.
I'm the last one to arrive. So.
24th of June.
Yes. And then we'll drive from Vegas to Anaheim.
I think the temperature is going to be like 110.
Yeah.
Cool.
Looking
forward to it.
Las Vegas in June.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty crazy. Although we get that here in Texas, so it's not so bad. But I don't know if it's in Vegas. Is it a dry heat? Here it's humidity.
Oh yeah.
No.
It's a dry heat.
Oh,
it
okay.
Sucks the water right out of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Here in Texas, it's always the humidity is terrible at this time of year.
And so you pay a lot of money for air conditioning.
Yes, we don't. We usually our summers are staycations. You just stay inside. It's too hot to go anywhere. So.
So Aaron, why don't we get back to talking about what it takes? Can you show us some pictures on Instagram behind the scenes?
Yeah, I can do that. Let me pull it up right here and then get a screen share going.
And Aaron, did you want to share some of the artwork that you worked on?
Yes.
You were talking about Final Cut.
Yeah. Let me. I'll pull that up right now. Give me one moment. Aaron will show you his stuff.
So Nathyn, can you give us a little bit about your background? How did you get started in all this?
With YouTube?
Yeah, with YouTube.
Well, the one thing that's hilarious about our group, like a lot of the core people in this doc, me and Chloe in particular, is we started YouTube with a friend, and we're like really no longer friends, which is weird.
How could you no longer be friends? Did you move away?
No, it's just, life happens and people just sometimes don't be friends anymore. That's a long story. But no, a friend of mine showed me Philip DeFranco. I'm not too sure if you're familiar with Philip DeFranco.
Sure.
He showed me Philip DeFranco's work, and I found it interesting because it was a different take on news, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I started watching him every day. And then my friend would just throw out facts. He's like, oh, he does this for a career, and he does this. And I started watching, DeFranco's podcast or whatever he was doing, and he was just telling me about the world, like, of YouTube. And I was like, that's crazy. And then, as you start watching one YouTuber, you branch out to others. And I started watching so many people, and they just, like, I saw some, like I said in the doc, some really good ones and some really bad ones. But either way, the same thing they all had in common was they were just being who they were, and I love that. And I was like, I think I can do this YouTube stuff. I was like, I think it would help me, because, like, at that point in my life, it was just I got out of some bad relationships, and I didn't know who I was too much, and I was like, I want to do this because everybody seems to be very comfortable with themselves. And I started making YouTube videos, and my very first one is a contest video, and that is where I met Chloe, Awkward Adolescence, who's in the doc. I met her through that contest, and that's my very first video on my channel. And as a lot of YouTubers would say, my first videos are terrible compared to what they are now. But you know, I leave them up there just to show the progression. But yeah, I started because I wanted to just kind of find myself. And you know, I just started seeing what YouTube really was, and I just kept going with it, and I love it. I do it every day, and I don't plan on stopping.
Have you found yourself, and who are you now?
I am a very weird person. I like to say I'm weird, but I just found myself, I'm more comfortable now, because I found this community which on YouTube where people don't judge me for being that just slightly awkward person, and because I'm very sound effects and just like very hand motions, and people love that personality, and it's just who I am. And I'm very comfortable now because I know there's people out there that will accept me exactly how I am, and you know, they're just gonna be like, I want to talk to that guy, he seems like fun. And I'm like, awesome. And you know, you grow up in like the high school mentality, and you go and you just always feel like you're judged and you got to fit into a certain group. That kind of sucks, and that carried with me past high school, but finding YouTube made me just realize who I was, and just continue to just be who I know I am. And I'm just more confident now, silly, I put that out to the world, and I just really, you know, live life now. It's really great.
Do you tell jokes? I mean, you say you're silly.
No, I think it's not necessarily jokes. It's like, I don't know, Aaron, would you say like I'm more of like a storyteller?
It's
like,
well, yeah, and it's more of just kind of a persona thing. He's just very outgoing, I guess you could say, and you know, he says what he wants to say, and he does. I think you're at the point now where you just don't care what people think, and that's what you have to do if you want to, not necessarily to be successful on YouTube, but if you want people to stick around, if you want people to like the viewers will know if you're acting, and you know, obviously when you're Andy, you're a character.
Yeah.
You're acting, but the fact that you can be an Andy character and just not care about the people who are saying, oh, you must like guys, like you gotta let go of everything and not worry about what people think. And I think that's the best way to describe Nathyn, is just he just doesn't care, and I think that's the good thing. I mean, he cares, but you know what I mean. So I think that's the best way of describing him, is just he's just outgoing. He's not afraid to be judged, and I think that's good.
So not afraid to be judged.
Mm-hmm.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Yes, it's a great feeling.
Did you find your Instagram account?
Yes,
Aaron,
I did.
Want to share some photos?
I will share a few that I have here. Yeah. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the first thing that I posted on my Instagram about what it takes, and it's just a little preview almost, just releasing the date and the title. And I didn't say much. I just said it's a short documentary about YouTubers, and that there's 4 people from all over the U.S. that have come together to make it happen. And a few people saw it, and I kind of let it die down for a bit, and then after that posted this picture here of a little sneak peek of what was going on. And I think people probably knew that this had something to do with what I had just posted, and this is actually me working on the intro with my friend Nicholas here, and on the bed you can see that's all of Nathyn's artwork there. I kind of had it all organized into sections on when I was using it and when it would need to be used and stuff. So there's that one as well, and I think there's just one more here. This is when actually the poster release came after that. I don't know. Come on, load. There we go. There's the poster release, and put that on there as well, which you guys I think saw earlier. And then I posted this one when it was all done. This is me up on my kitchen table editing, and I just put "it's done," and I think people knew what I was talking about there. As you can see here, Emily and Chloe, who are both featured in the documentary, they both commented on it. Emily just put exclamation marks, and Chloe put yes. So, and long story short, it was not actually done at that point. I thought it was done, but we ran into quite a few issues afterwards.
Yes.
But those are a few of the pictures that I have there, and then.
Can you show us the
Since
picture
then
of your equipment? I see the 2 video cameras.
Oh yes, these are the 2. Yeah, this was a Throwback Thursday picture to where it all started that I posted, which is the one on the camera on the right there is the one that I actually really started using, and that was what my parents let me use. The one on the left, the RCA, that was what my parents filmed all my like school singing events with and music events. And our first day of school, they'd film us, and I'd mess with that, but I didn't really like know that I was like wanting to do film stuff until the Sony Handycam. But
so you sing?
No. Well, I mean, in like elementary school, we'd have like we'd all have to take the music class, so my parents would use that camera to film these. I sat there and I lip sang. I just made it look like I was singing. Because I'm not a good singer at all, but yeah.
What's the picture, the second picture there, right by the skateboard picture? Isn't that kind of a collage?
Yeah, this one here, if it loads, this is. I posted this. I put now that the documentary is out, I'm less than 30 days away from the release of my Kansas project. So these are a few pictures from my Kansas project that I'm working on, and that's going to come out the 30th of this month, and it's kind of just a big cinematic video where I've been going all over the state and filming numerous locations, and I'm going to throw together a cinematic video to show what Kansas is really about, because I think a lot of the reason I wanted to make that one is a lot of people don't think Kansas has beauty, and I'm going to show that it does have beauty. You just have to go find it. So
you're involved in that project right now?
Yes, I am. Yeah,
you're editing, so there's no rest for the tired here, right?
There is no rest. I've got less than 30 days to edit it. I still have 2 locations that I'm going to be going to, and I'm still working on figuring out the perfect song to license for it. But this is going to be a different one. It's not going to be quite as difficult to edit. It'll kind of just be however I want it to be seen. With the doc, I had to have it in certain order and wanted to make sure everything was as good as it could be. I mean, this I'm going to make sure it's as good as it can be, but it's a different type of video, so yeah.
So I would think it would have a lot of legs in terms of the market, because the state of Kansas could utilize it as a piece to bring tourists to these various locations. Have you reached out to them to find out if they can give you some funding to produce this, or if they can put it on their social network sites or on their website or anything?
Mm-hmm. As far as funding, I have not branched out and asked for that yet. I've been working on this project since late October. Because I wanted to have it seasonal to where I'd get the fall and some snow shots, and now with it being spring. But I haven't asked about funding, but I know I'm going to be contacting them and asking if it's something they want to put on their website to draw people into Kansas. Because I mean, I'd like to think that I try to get the shot that no one else is willing to get, and I think that's a quote from Devin Supertramp, who is one of the filmmakers that I look up to on YouTube, and I just don't think that. I mean, I may be wrong, but I don't think that there's people walking at the top of the waterfalls in Kansas trying to get the shot. I've gotten some risky shots here, and so I think that the video is going to show some parts of Kansas that people haven't really gotten. Because I've almost gotten pretty hurt on this project, actually. We won't get into that though.
Well, let's get into it. How did you get hurt?
Well, since we're still on the Instagram, I can.
Yeah, we're still on.
Let me show you. Since we're still on the Instagram, Um, I'll show you. This is way back in I think October. I need to go back to is when I was at a place called Castle Rock, Kansas, and this is actually here is a waterfall that I went to, and a lot of people don't even know there's waterfalls in Kansas. But this is a place. This is one of the locations. I'm actually going to go back to this place again. Hopefully, the water will be flowing a little bit better. But that's one of the places. The no one knows this really except for the people that went with me. But I almost got hurt at this place called Castle Rock, Kansas, and it's in western Kansas. This is actually me on top of where I almost fell. I don't know if did it load? Okay, there it goes.
Whoa!
So that right there, if you look to the left, after my sister, I think, took this from her phone, and they ended up walking off to another rock formation, and they were around the corner, and I sat my camera down, which it's over here on this rock, and I walked to the left down here, and it got very thin out here to the left, and I almost fell. I fell down, and my left leg and my right leg went on either side of the rocks, and I kind of like sat on it like a bicycle. So I got lucky that I didn't fall to one side. But yeah, there's been some risky shots that I've that I've gotten with the whole Kansas project, but it's going to be a good one, I think. So it's gonna be fun.
To jump around here on your pictures, I saw one of a wedding. Do you do wedding videos?
Okay, yeah. I've done a few. I think with weddings, I know I've done my sister's wedding. I've done a few other than that as well. I think with weddings, they're just so stressful for me because you got to get that shot, that final shot, the big kiss. And I don't know. I think if I were to be in a place, for instance, with like someone like Nathyn, where I could be like, hey, let's go shoot a wedding, and there's two of us.
Yeah.
It would be a different story. But for me, what I did is I'd rent a camera from a website, mount that in the balcony, mount a GoPro in the window of the church, and then me just run around with my Steadicam and then line it all up. And so it's just stressful, I think, with it just being me. So I've kind of stayed away from weddings. But
I saw a picture of guitars on a wall. You did a commercial for a guitar center, guitar outlet.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's actually A440 Music, which I actually just went there yesterday to shoot another little Facebook promo for their Facebook. That's my old theater teacher. He opened that store up, I think, when I was a senior, and he's still running it. And I like to go help them out. He's an awesome guy, and it's fun to go in there. Like I said, I'm not very musical. I play the drums, but yeah, I take a lot of pictures.
Film originally, weren't you?
Do what?
You were going to film your interview there?
Yeah, I was going to film my interview at the music store, but it ended up not working out. I don't know, it's kind of hard sometimes. Yeah. I didn't want there to be people in there, and so I just ended up filming it here. But
yeah, you should let them know about your first experience of trying to film the interview. It had to do with Kansas. That was interesting.
Yeah, it does. Do we want to see any more pictures?
Nathyn, do you want to see any more pictures?
I'm good. I've seen his Instagram.
Yeah, we've covered all the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I'll close that out. But no, the first time back to what it takes. I wanted to film in nature because I just love nature, and so I took my camera out to film in this dried out riverbed, and it's just like 10 miles outside of town here, and I set everything up, and everything was rolling, and I was making sure everything was good, and I started hearing some stuff up in the trees, and this is when I immediately jumped into the Glide app because I didn't want to feel alone, and so I was like, guys, something's going on up in the trees, and so I got my tripod, and I was like, this isn't going to work out. There's either someone watching me or there's an animal up there. And if it was just a deer, that's fine. But I had recently heard that they're letting out mountain lions to control the deer population north of town. And so I didn't want to mess with any of that. So I got my stuff, and I'm walking through this riverbed, dried out. I'm about a mile from my car, so it takes me a while to walk back. And I walk back to my car. I turn around the tree line and where my car was parked, and sure enough, there's a mountain lion sniffing around right by my car, and it was not full size like an adult mountain lion, but it looked about the size of my dog. And right when I came around the corner, it darted into the trees. It didn't want to have anything to do with me, but I still was like, I've got to make it to my car. And so I made no noise, beeline straight to my car, didn't even throw my stuff in the trunk, threw it right into the passenger seat, got in and left. But that was the first time I tried to film my interview.
Yeah,
That was kind of crazy. But
I was at work when that was happening, and like we would always just glide each other, like, "Hey guys, I'm about to film. I'm about to do this," and I want to say it was like 15 to 20 glides, just back to back with Aaron. And I was just like, "What's going on? I can't check these at work."
yeah.
And it was crazy.
Well,
and then I finally saw them, and I was like, "A mountain lion!" I was like, "This is nuts!" Like
it happened, and I wish what happened was, because I wanted to glide the whole experience back to my car, because I was like, something is in these trees, and I was like, and if I get eaten out here, it'll at least be on this glide app so they can let people know where I'm at. No, I wasn't afraid of getting eaten, but yeah, I recorded my entire walk back because I could hear stuff in the trees, and yeah, so the glide app should have sponsored this whole documentary because we used it every day.
Yeah, it was really great. Good source. Like, if anybody ever wants to make a documentary with somebody that you've never met in your life before, because me and Aaron have not met, Glide and Google Hangouts are going to be your best friends, as long as you're willing to put in the time. Because this has been our life for like the last month, for sure, at least. April was just this doc. I don't think we really didn't go out. Although there was at one point, we had not slept. It was just like up until 5 a.m. every day, and we just had to sit down and be like, dude, we need to take a day off. Like, it is just draining. We couldn't comprehend what we were talking about to each other. We were just extremely exhausted. I was like, let's take the night off, and we'll just go at it tomorrow. And I believe we both had the day off the next day, so we just went ahead and just edited like crazy the next day. But yeah, we had to take a day off because it took a toll. Like, we did a lot of work, and it was just, we put in a lot of time.
And a little bit of time. So
yeah.
I think one of the things I learned the most from this project is, with working with Nathyn on this so much, is just, like I said, trusting the other person. When he said, dude, just stop editing, because it was already maybe 1 or 2, and I was like, I can put in another 4 hours, and get some solid work done, because that's what we were doing each night till about 6. And he said, just go to bed. He glided me that. Because he knew, I think you knew, like, if I were to keep working, I could have just made some stupid errors while editing, maybe some typos or just dumb cuts here and there. And so I think having you just tell me, just go to bed, just work on it tomorrow, helped out. And he helped me stay on top of things all the time as well. So a lot of it wouldn't have gotten done if he wouldn't have stepped up and told me, hey, this needs to be done now because we're 15 days away or whatever. So
that was the interesting thing, actually, releasing the date, because I think Aaron and I are both very goal oriented, and we're like, this is our goal, like, we cannot miss it. And there was some tough times like that. The last day, the last 12 hours were ridiculous. We went through so much. Aaron can start that story off.
Yeah, please tell. What's the story? Last 12 hours.
Okay, so like he said, we want to meet our deadlines, because I'm like that too. Like with my Kansas project coming out the 30th, if I tell people it's coming out, that's the day it's going to come out, or else people won't watch it the next day. And so we told people, April 30th, and we were going to do it midnight on the 29th or whatever. And the last 24 hours, I had it pretty much polished all the way through edited. I'd watched it numerous times in the editor, and then I rendered and watched it to make sure there were no dropped frames. And I didn't realize this until I uploaded the video, because I uploaded it ahead of time, and then I was going to make it go public at midnight. And it uploaded, and it was only in 480p. And I was like, why is this not high definition? And so this was in the afternoon, so I was like, we have time, whatever. I went home and figured out what the problem was, and I had the whole file in Final Cut wasn't saved under 1080p, so I had to just drag all the clips into a new timeline that was a project that was in 1080. And I'm not a Final Cut expert, but I just knew that would work, and it ended up working. But the problem was that I just dragged and selected all the clips, and not everything transferred to the new timeline. And since I had watched the version ahead of time 12, 13 times, I knew, I was like, okay, this is going to be fine. And this was creeping up on the deadline. I was like, I need to get to upload this. And so I rendered that out, which it took a while to render the 20-minute video, actually. And
how much time? How much time? We're talking about HD quality here.
Yeah, this is full HD. It took, I mean, I have a decent computer that's running 16 gigs of RAM, and it took, oh man, it took 30 or 40 minutes to render the 20-minute video, I would say. But and so I was like, I got to get this to my friend's house because my friend has much better internet than me. So I was like, can I upload at your house? He said yes. Took it there. I was, of course, gliding the others in the documentary saying, it's uploading, this is what percentage we're at. And it all of a sudden went from 45 minutes until upload to 1100. And I was like, oh man, what's going on? We're not going to make this. And so this is when I decided to take one for the team and use my data on my phone. So I was like, I'm going to tether from my phone and upload it using my 4G data. And so what I did was I turned that on, connected to his laptop, uploaded it, and all of a sudden it's going mega speed. And I was like, this is going to be it. This is going to be good. And it uploaded. It was 11:40. And so
we got it up before 12.
We got it up before 12. I rushed home, and we all jumped into Google Hangout because we were going to be there for when it was live. And and then all of a sudden it went live, and Nathyn called me. And do you want to explain this part from here on out? Because we had it live before midnight, so I was like, we're good. And then I rushed home so we could all be in a Google Hangout when it fully released. And then I'll let you take over from here.
One thing the reason we were able to catch the 480p was because we had this big part where we included in Emily's part was YouTubers, and we wanted to have this cool thing where it said YouTubers and had all the people that were going to be on this panel at Vidcon, and that was one of the things that didn't transfer over. And I think I had contacted you, right? And I was like, you put in the YouTubers thing, right? You were like, no. And we were like, oh no. So we caught that, and then that's how we caught the 480p. But it was still like 7 o'clock, so we had plenty of time.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, and then we did that, and then so anyway, so we get everything fixed, and we're uploading, and he sends us all the links like was it 12? Did we all start watching it at midnight?
Straight up 12. I sent the links, and I think everyone except Chloe at that point had tweeted it because it was right at 12.
Yes.
And,
and so we all tweet it, and I'm like, everybody's pumped. We're in a Google Hangout. Well, we get out of the Google Hangout to save speed on our bandwidth, and I'm watching it, and like since I've been with Aaron throughout the whole editing process, I know every small cut and everything, and I'm watching it, and we get to this big part, and they're just missing frames. Like things are just completely gone. There was supposed to be this. It goes to cuts to black screen, and it goes to like 65,000. That was gone, and then the message or type right after that was gone, and then the whole YouTubers people were gone too, right?
Yeah, it missed. Yeah, oh man, it missed a lot when I was dragging all the clips into the new timeline. That's where I'm assuming that it didn't get everything, and he didn't glide me at that point. He called me and said, Sabrina's part is messed up. And I was sitting here working on tweeting it out and stuff too. I hadn't even watched it because I didn't want. That's the last thing I want to do was watch it because I had seen it 20 times. And so I said, "What do you mean?" And he said some of the text didn't transfer over, and some of the there's like a black screen in one spot, and it just didn't make sense. And I cut to the video ahead of time on YouTube. I didn't even believe it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And at that point, I was so discouraged that had happened, I didn't even want to delete it and re-upload it. But he, once again, Nathyn being the guy helping me out, said, you've got to delete it. And I deleted it, and I was like, man, I used all that data when I tethered from my phone. I'm going to have to redo this. So I deleted it. It had been up for, 12 minutes? Not very many people had seen it at that point. And so that was a great decision because I had been staying up so late anyways, it wasn't going to make a big difference if I stayed up, added those back in there, and re-uploaded, which is what we eventually did. And it all worked out, but it was stressful. And then I had to use my phone again because in order to get it up in time, my internet was not fast enough. And so I'm allowed 2 gigs of data through Verizon. And right now my data calculator is at 6.1 gigs. So I've taken a big hit with this documentary uploading from my phone.
Yeah. And then the thing I think that made us feel the worst, like with that, was that so many people were excited about it. So many people were like, we can't wait. They were staying up till midnight, whether they were on the East Coast or West Coast. It was only 10 o'clock for them. But they were just staying up, and we were just like, they were super excited. They're like, can't wait, can't wait. We had been tweeting like every hour till the release. And then when we just saw it, we were just like, no. And we deleted it, and we got it back up like 3 or 4 in the morning our time. And but I guess the real positive thing was everybody that had started watching it, and I think if you started watching it, you were able to finish if we still deleted it.
Yeah, I don't know, you were, as long as you didn't click away from the link, yeah.
Yeah. And then for some people were like, I only got to get through half, but what I saw was amazing already. So it was good to get some positive vibes while we were fixing it. We apologized to everybody, but we said we had to fix this. We did it, and then like the next day, I think we can agree that we did not imagine it getting the success it's got. And like we had agreed that, like Aaron said this before we even really started getting into the hardcore editing, that it was already a success in our minds because we put a lot of work into it. But yeah, I'll let Aaron just talk about all the positive vibes we got.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I was on the receiving end of the email notifications and stuff. And so what I like to do when I upload a video is just leave my computer, because that's the last thing I want to see. And so I had turned my computer off because it needed a break in the first place. And I'm laying in bed and I wake up and I'm like, wow, this has a lot of views already. And I hadn't even tweeted it out. And within like the first 48 hours, it had, what, 1,000 views almost? And we were just super surprised with just how many people had seen it. And I think the reason it did so well right away is just the amount of the community that YouTube offers, and the amount of people that were involved in it. Even if it was just their face for 3 seconds, they thought it was awesome to be in it. And so that's another thing where Nathyn's idea came into play, is with him designing that poster with all these people involved, it made for a better, I think, release, because all these people wanted to see if their face was in it even for a second. And I knew we wanted to get some clips from other YouTubers in there, but I did not expect to download almost 100. And so it was just a ton of positivity right away, and I just knew it was all worth it. And like you said, we knew it was a success in our eyes before we even uploaded, just because we made it happen. And I think I glided all the girls before that, and I said, I don't care if this gets 50 views or 2,000 views. Like, we made it happen, and we set a goal for April 30th. We all sent footage, and it happened. And so, yeah, it was awesome to get the feedback that it has gotten. I think it's died down a little bit, but I'm still getting comments every now and then that people really enjoy it. So, yeah, it was a crazy last 24 hours before it released.
You were expecting, a success of 2,000, but don't you have like over 6,000 views on it right now?
6,000?
No, I don't think so.
It's not
if
6,000?
we did, that's amazing. But
I thought I saw 6,000.
I have no idea. I have not seen it in a while.
So. If it does, that is a super surprise to us.
Well,
we're at 1,262. Is what we're at. That's 1,200. So
you're at 1,200. Oh, I don't know. Oh, it must have been another video that you did. Maybe it's running water. Doesn't that have 6,000?
Yeah, running water just passed 5,000. So it's probably approaching 6,000 as well. So yeah, that you surprised me there for a second. I was like, no way. But yeah, running water is around that. So
yeah, maybe that's it. I got the numbers.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
So you've got a lot of positive feedback. How do you deal with the haters, all the negative feedback? You put all this passion, you've taken a hit, blood, sweat, and tears have been into this. How do you deal with the negative stuff?
I'll let you elaborate on that, Juice, for a second, just because I'm going to pull something up here. I don't think we've really had much hate on this, but go ahead and talk about it.
We have 2 dislikes now.
Two dis-
Yeah. But no, like I think that's the great thing about this project is we haven't had one bad comment yet, not that I know of.
No.
It's been very positive. But I told Aaron like during editing, I was like, even if we got a bad comment, it's just like the one thing you learn being a YouTuber is some people just like to troll you. Some people just like to leave a bad comment because they want to be the first one there, or they just want to ruin your day. And that's one thing I've learned being like characters and stuff like that. People always tell me terrible things, and I've listened to some of my other YouTube friends, and the stuff they're told is not even anything compared to I've been told. Like theirs is way worse. I just brush it off. I'm like, all right, you just realize some people do it because maybe their life isn't so great and they just want to take it out on somebody else, or they just want to ruin your day. There are people out there like that, but I think we talked about it, how it wasn't going to really affect us because the positive was going to highly outweigh the negative, and
Right.
it's just, I don't know. I told Aaron, like, the only thing I would love to get from this thing is not subscribers or views. My biggest thing was I want somebody to tell me that this dog was inspirational, and we got that immediately.
Yeah.
Everybody said it was inspirational, and that just, I was like, success. Like somebody tweeted me that, and I was just like, I got it. That's exactly what I wanted.
I think shortly after you got that tweet, I texted you and I said, worth it. That's all I said. Is just this was worth it. Because we had already gotten so many nice comments, and it was just like. I don't think, like you said, I've seen a negative comment on it yet, but I think we're all at the point where we just ignore the negativity, just because, just like you said, they're just not confident in themselves or whatever. I don't even know what is in the mind of someone negative. Like for me, and for instance, I don't even put dislikes on a video. The least I can do, like, is just cut away, just watch a different video and not even finish it. Because negativity just isn't good for anyone. But and it's funny that you mentioned the whole negative thing. I've got a screen share of a text message that I got 6 days before the release of this documentary. This is all I get right here. I don't know if you can see this, but this is on the 24th as I'm editing. Actually, this is at like 11:30, and I get this message. Yeah, and that's all.
I don't know how you got that either. That was weird.
And the thing about it is, I live in a small town, so a few people know that I make videos and stuff, and I've had a few people actually like, oh, are you that guy that makes videos? And it's like, yeah, I'm the guy that makes videos, whatever. But there's some people, even in high school, that were like, what you're doing is a waste of time, and you just don't listen to that. But I don't know who sent that. Unfortunately, since I got this new phone, they didn't do a screen cap of the entire thing, so I don't have the number. And that upsets me because I would like to see what area code that's from and stuff. It just took a screen cap of the conversation, and I deleted the thread and everything because I just don't even respond to that stuff. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because that came out right before we released this, and I just was like, whatever. The person can't even put together a real sentence. They didn't even make sense with it. But
yeah, you learn to just run with it. I used to just get bad comments too. Whether they're just nasty or race involved or anything like that, you just brush it off. You kind of have to. I recommend that to anybody. Like if you're very sensitive when it comes to people like saying bad things, like the internet, like entertainment business might not be for you because there's always going to be people like that, and you kind of got to grow a thick skin. Your first comment is always going to just hit you really hard because I know my first one did. I was like, oh wow, why doesn't that person like me? Or like, what did I do? But the more you get them, it sounds weird, the more you get them, the more you're just going to brush them off. And because, like I said, the positive comments are always going to outweigh the negative ones. But you just got to get a thick skin after a while.
Definitely.
Well, I think the rule of thumb is the bigger you get, the more negative comments that come through.
I'd agree with that.
I'm sure, yeah.
I don't know if I forgot her name, but there's a teenage girl, 13 years old, dying of cancer. Dying of cancer.
Oh, yeah.
And there were kids, because she was, getting popular. and there were people telling her, "You're just doing this because you want to be famous. You're just doing this to get subs." Really, really despicable stuff.
Yeah.
And she died.
Yeah.
Actually, she went on the Ellen show. They wined and dined her for about 6 months, but she ended up dying. And you look at these comments, you look at these people, and you just wonder, what are they? What are they made of? They spend their time just tearing down somebody who's got a terminal ill. She's showing videos of herself hooked up to all these machines to keep her alive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what is this? This is like the cesspool of humanity almost.
Yeah.
But then there's good. So you got good, you got all this real negative criticism coming down at you.
Yeah. So
I think that's a good example of what you said. There's always going to be negativity, but like you said, the positivity will outweigh the negativity. And I think with that girl, for instance, I'm sure she had so many people commenting positive things that helped her, and that's probably why she did it, to receive positive comments to help her get through her tough situation. And I think with anyone on YouTube, like you said, it might not be the right hobby or the right business for you if you can't handle it. As long as you're being yourself, you're going to get positive comments as well. And I think as long as you just ignore them, you'll have positivity to outweigh the negativity. So
Aaron, is this a business?
So unfortunate.
Is this a business you want to be in? I know that you're doing the 7-second videos on Saturday.
A business. Of course, if it took off, it's one of those things. Of course, yeah, I'd love to make videos and get paid actual money to do it. I know through Google AdSense now it's so hard to even gain any revenue. But even if YouTube didn't take off and turn into a business, I would still do it. Just like Nathyn said, I would still do this no matter what. It might not be as frequent if I had another job, but for sure I want to do something in this industry, whether it be film, TV, or YouTube, or I think it's more leaning towards online media just because of the way it's going. But something along the lines of this is what I want to end up doing. So for sure.
How about you, Nathyn?
Yeah, I agree. The same thing, basically. I'd love to work in any kind of entertainment business, but the online thing is just so great. Because it's how I got out of my shell, and the way I see it now is, I would love to be one of those YouTubers that this is your career and everything like that. But if I still got to work, a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life, I'm still gonna make videos because it makes me happy. But it's also because I had people just open up and be themselves, and it encouraged me to be myself. I'm hoping to be that person for somebody else. So if my videos only get 10 to 15 views every video, but it's helping those 10 to 15 people, I'm satisfied. That's all I really need. But yeah, I mean, I won't lie and be like, I don't want this to be a career. I would love it, instead of having to. I would love to just wake up and make a video, and that's my career. Like, that would be amazing. But if not, I'm still fine working a regular job and still making videos for people that love them, and myself.
Mm-hmm.
What's your plan for VidCon? 6 weeks from now, are you going to go on Industry Day? Do you sit in the panels? Do you learn the business, or are you going there for meet and greets?
I'll say my Industry Day stuff last year. Okay, so anybody that doesn't know, the Industry Day pass is quite expensive if you want to do the Industry Day, but I paid for it last year. And I was like, I want to learn all I can about Industry Day and do everything. I bought it for VidCon last year, and I landed, I met up with some friends, I ate some questionable food and got food poisoning for Industry Day. And I was bedridden the whole day, so I did not get to experience any of Industry Day because I was going to go ahead and that was going to be my days of panel. Like, I was going to do panels all day Industry Day, and then I was just going to do Expo Hall and hang out with friends and possibly make collab videos or do anything like that. But I was sick all of VidCon pretty much last year. This year, since we're going with a group, Aaron and I will be sharing a hotel room with another one of our friends. And we're probably going to make videos. We're getting there a day before, because Expo Hall is now 3 days. But yeah, I mean, my plan is just to hang out with friends, go to the YouTubers panel is the only panel as of right now that I'm going to for sure, because that's Emily's panel. Yeah, just really enjoy it. Like, VidCon is just kind of one of those things where you just go and you can make plans for it, but sometimes you're just like, maybe you're hanging out with a YouTuber you really respect, and they're like, hey, we're going to go to this thing. Do you want to go? And you're just like, sure. Like, it's just really something you play by ear.
I would have to agree there. Yeah, you don't want to, I mean, you want to plan out some things, but you can't almost, because it's one of those things you just got to play it by ear. And I think last year I went to a few panels. Of course, I'm going to support Emily and her panel this year. I might try to go to a panel about, you know, engaging your audience. What was the one last year? It was like expanding your audience and gaining a larger audience or something maybe to learn a little bit more. I think the best experience you can get there is just talking to people. People in the expo hall that work for these networks and stuff. I know I talked to Brett the intern a little bit last year, who's for Maker, and just talking to people. So I think a lot of industry day, since I don't have an industry day pass, like it was for me last year, was just going around conversing. And I think that's the best thing you can do, is just establish relationships, and also, like Nathan just said, just have fun and just meet new people and talk to new people. But yeah, it should be a good time.
Are you going to Disneyland?
Yes.
Yeah. The plan is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun time. It's so crazy that I went the first time I went to VidCon. I didn't go last year, but it was the first time I was ever at Disneyland, and everybody's so happy there. It's crazy. Happiest place on earth, and that's their motto. But it's ridiculously how exciting it is.
Yeah.
I love it there.
I've been to Disney World, but not Disneyland, so I'm excited to. I didn't go to Disneyland last year. My VidCon trip last year was very spur of the moment, so I only had 5 days there, and so I flew back that night. So I ended up not trying to force going to Disney Day and then having to make my flight. So I'm excited to be able to stay longer this year.
Yeah.
Are you going? Is this a week trip? You fly into Las Vegas. You're taking a road trip to LA. Are you going to fly out of LA, or are you guys going back to Las Vegas?
We're going back to Vegas. We're actually after Disney Day, we're taking a trip down to San Diego to hang out with some other YouTube friends just for the day, and then we're driving back to Vegas. And Nathan and I actually are going to spend a couple days in Vegas, just because, I mean, if I'm going to be there, you might as well. If I'm going to take off 6 days, I might as well take off 8 days or whatever it ended up being. But yeah, we'll spend a couple days in Vegas too, and just experience that as well. But yeah, it should be awesome.
Take your shorts. Let me tell you, shorts and sand.
Yeah.
It is dry. It is dry heat, Nathan. You're gonna like that.
Okay. Yeah.
It's still.
Pretty
it's
hot.
still like 110. It gets you. There's no relief except running into air conditioning.
Yeah. Chloe lives there, so she lets us know.
Even the pool is hot. They don't heat the pool, but it's still like 80 degrees, 90 degrees.
Yeah. Doesn't need to be heated. Yeah.
In Las Vegas. Yeah, they put covers over the pools to keep them cool.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, but no, it's gonna be a really good trip. We're really excited. The girls are really excited. It's gonna be fun. The one thing me and Aaron were talking about was we were so relieved when it was over. Like, we put in so much work, and it's so good to. I think the 2 or 3 days afterwards, we just relaxed. We didn't do anything.
Just responded to comments and just
kick
back.
And, I think we're both kind of excited to get back to our own projects. But we really do appreciate the time that we put into this current project, which was what it takes.
Now, isn't this VidCon trip going to be a project that you're going to be working on? And if so, do you have a title for it?
We'll be filming a lot.
Yeah, we'll be filming a lot. I know for sure this year I'm going to make a much better VidCon recap video, just because I just flew out by myself last year, and I met up with some people that I'd been watching and kind of hung out with them the entire time. Josh and Serena, which they're just awesome, and but this year I'm gonna try to make a much better recap video. But as far as a project, I don't really have anything in mind. I might shoot a couple 7-second Saturdays there if I think of something, but Oh, and then we're planning on doing a director's cut when we're in Vegas.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch it through and record our thoughts while it's playing. And I know the girls. We're gonna since this is gonna kind of die down before VidCon. As far as I'm not gonna watch it anymore. The next time I watch it will probably be with the whole cast that was in it. So we're gonna kick back and watch it at Chloe's house the night we all land, probably, and just kind of reunite as a cast. So
should be a good experience.
Hey, I guess you guys could have a meetup at VidCon with the cast members.
yeah, if it blew up a little bit more, that would be something. I think. I mean, we can obviously tell people, because I know a lot of the people that were in it are going to VidCon, as far as the people that the clips were used for. So, and a lot of them don't know, I don't think yet, that we're all road tripping there. And so at some point we can be like, yo, we're all together, come, hang out, and we can talk and stuff, and just do an impromptu meetup. But
so, Aaron, you talked about the hit you took in terms of data. How much did this cost you out of pocket?
well, I'm not sure yet because I haven't gotten the bill, but I think it's $10 per gig you go over. So I'm allowed to, and I went over to 6.1, so it's going to be about a $40 hit, and so it's not too bad. But we'll see what the bill shows.
I know your time. I know your time is worth something, but when you put it into a passion project like this, you don't get, compensated. How much money did you go into postage and other incidentals to make this happen?
Nathan, how much did you spend on postage? Because I know he had to send all the artwork, and that was all on him. I'll talk about the other funds later.
All the artwork I sent was about like $20-something to ship. And then
he did overnight, I think. So
yeah, I think I did
2 days or something.
Yeah, something like that for the artwork, and then I did 2 days, which was like, I don't know, like $7 for when I had to reship my memory cards because I had more footage. So I probably spent like 30-something, 40-something, not including all the Starbucks coffees or sodas I had to buy to stay up throughout the night. But yeah, I know Aaron put in a good amount too. The girls, we had them ship it 2 days, so they put in,
They put in at least $10 probably just shipping out their stuff just to get it to me. But yeah, I know Nathan with him sending, because I know that was, like he said, he wanted to get the stuff to me before playlist, so he definitely chose the priority shipping on the artwork that cost him. Other than that, it was a pretty cheap project. I licensed all the music in under $100. And then, of course, the hit on this will probably equal out to like just over $100 out of pocket for me, which is worth it. Just because, I mean, like I said, the Kansas project that I'm working on, that's taking a ton of gas money. That's kind of the hit that I'm taking with that project that will eventually be worth it. But this one, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think we went into it knowing that we were going to give it our all. Money wasn't really a problem, although money is precious because we don't have like crazy jobs or anything like that. Yeah. But I think when it comes into just being a passion project, you really don't care. Like with all the sleepless nights we had, we would just like reminisce and be like, remember when we started and we had no direction for this video? Yeah. Like we had no direction. We didn't even know we were going to use cardboard. We were just talking about it. Like, Please Subscribe is where it started. We would just talk about how great Please Subscribe was. And we were like, how can we try to make something about smaller YouTubers and be just as good as that doc? Because like that doc was just like our whole core. Like we just loved it so much, and we wanted to make our own thing, but still had that kind of feel. And I think we did that.
I think one of the things when we first really started having Google Hangouts to talk about like the overall core like idea and everything behind it was, we wanted people to see it, even if they weren't involved in the YouTube community or knew much about it, to be able to see it and kind of get an idea that, wow, these people aren't just wasting their time. They enjoy what they're doing. It's benefiting them as an individual, like they're branching out, and they put a lot of hard work into it. And I think the creators that have watched it can relate to it because whether they're big or small, they've been small at some point. But also people like my parents that don't understand YouTube as much will watch it and be like, wow, everyone puts in a lot of time and effort. And so I think the overall goal was to 100% capture that and so that never really changed. But the whole project just went up and down as far as ideas throughout the whole process. But
yeah, we had a very, like the intro, well, we had like statistics and stuff, and it just didn't work. And then we were trying to fit people in places that just wouldn't have fit, and it was a good thing. And I think the great thing about this project and why it was so balanced was it was never to the point where like, no, I hate that. That is not going to work. It was never like that. If somebody wanted something in this project, we tried to fit it in another way. We never went at this like negatively towards each other. It was always cooperative, and I think that's why we work so well together. It's because it's a good balance. Like. Nobody thought they were doing more than the other person, and I think that's why it came out so great. Yeah. So,
hence you're doing this road trip. Hence you guys are going to spend the whole week together.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, we definitely butted heads on a few things. I know we did, because there were certain things where I was like, it's just not going to work there. But like you said, we fit it in certain areas, and that's the good thing about working with someone, is just bouncing off each other's ideas. And so that happened a lot, but it all worked out. So. Yeah.
What happened in those cases where you butted heads? Who basically said, "We're going to do it my way"?
Well, the thing is,
it wasn't like that.
Yeah, it wasn't like we're going to do it my way. It was. I think the main thing was the where we really, I think, butted heads first was the intro and. Yeah. Fitting a certain part, the part that was in Emily's part where it cut off to Sabrina. I know you watched it, Jack, so you might remember where it cuts to Sabrina, letting him know about YouTubers and who Sabrina is. We were going to actually cut away during the intro, but as I was throwing the intro together, once I got the voiceover stuff from Rob, I just knew it's going to be awkward if we cut away to that and then come back to finish off the intro. And now that you watch it, Nathyn, do you kind of agree if it would just be kind of weird?
No. I totally agree, and then, but like my mindset was like, okay, it has to be in this doc. Like that was my mindset. Like it has to be in here. If it's not going to be in the intro, because I totally agree, it's way better without it in the intro. I was like, but it has to be in here, and you know, we threw around ideas, and like that was kind of one of the things, the way it worked. Like if I had a certain idea and Aaron was like, okay, he really wants it, he would think of a way to put it in there. Maybe not the way I wanted it exactly, but he'd do it, and I'd do the same. And that's what happened with this particular one. I wanted it in the doc because I knew it would be beneficial because her story was so great. I was like, we got to put it in somewhere.
Right.
Luckily, you know, after filming, the whole YouTubers thing took off and became an actual panel, and we're like, that's where it's going to fit. It's going to be perfect. We asked Emily before. We were like, hey, we're just going to throw this, you know, person in there. They're really good friends. Both of the girls are really good friends, Sabrina and Emily. And she was like, go for it. And it fit perfectly, and everybody was happy. I think everybody loved exactly the placement of the two parts. So.
Definitely.
Wow, you worked on a passion project, and at the end, everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
We're
glad that it's over.
I would think that would be its own reward right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
where
for sure.
It's something that brought you guys closer together as opposed to pulling you apart.
Definitely.
Have you ever worked on a project like this in real life with anybody, where it has come out so good?
No, I don't. I haven't. Not that I. Hold on. I'm trying to think of my old videos.
Or
not on this scale. Not on this scale, no.
Yeah, not on this scale. I mean, the Running Water documentary was kind of this scale, but it was so different just because it didn't involve so many people. And I just wasn't sure how it was going to come out with my sister filming it. I just knew, like, if she can get some good shots, I can tell the story. And that whole thing is a whole story of its own. It's just that didn't actually come out the way I intentionally planned, because I had started editing that before I went to Vidcon, and I planned on finishing when I got back. And my entire edit, with my computer being unplugged for like a week, I don't even know what happened. I was new to Final Cut, but nothing had saved, and I probably was 20% through the edit, and so I had to restart the whole edit on that. And so the Running Water doc, in order to get it out in time, didn't end up being exactly what I had envisioned it. It's weird because you would think you could just edit it the same way as you did the first time you edited it, but it didn't work out that way. But I still was very pleased with it. But it's not in the same sense of being done with it and having a different relationship, because it was kind of just me. So I haven't really worked on something of this scale with someone else. And and then being done with it being like we're closer together, or man, I kind of know what it's like to work with you now. I don't really want to anymore. So
Yeah.
this was kind of the first one for me. But
And now you're working on Kansas by yourself, is that right?
yeah, that's pretty much 100% by myself. I mean, some of my buddies have gone to some of the locations with me and, you know, driven out there, so I'm not alone just because they like going out in nature too. But as far as everything else, it's 100% just me. So I'm going to call the shots while editing. I won't have to glide Nathyn and say, hey, does this look good?
Yeah.
It'll just be whatever I decide on that. But yeah, I'm alone on that one. So.
Yeah.
And then when you're finished with Kansas, boom, you're getting ready for VidCon.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's the plan. That's why I was so excited to have this one release on the 30th, and then the Kansas release on the 30th, and then the next month is it's VidCon, and those can kind of just hopefully flourish a little bit, and I'll actually have content on my channel to where if I talk to people at VidCon, they'll have something to see if they go check it out. But
Yeah.
So have you woken up in the middle of the night with the aha idea again, Aaron, to say, this is the next one?
you know, not really, but I think those are the best ones, are the ahas, the ones that you
Yeah.
kind of really like have to think about. Sometimes aren't. Well, sometimes they are. But as far as the three huge projects that I've done, the burrito in space, the running water, this one, have kind of just all been this should happen, and then boom, it happens. And so I'm not going to go like fishing for the next big project. It'll just have to come to me. But I'm going to work on smaller stuff until then, just to keep creating. I know I want us to do a little 5-part mini-series that I want to film before VidCon with one of my friends that's a theater buddy when I was in theater at college, and he was actually in high school theater with me. And so I want to film those before VidCon, so while I'm at VidCon I can keep content flowing as well. But no, I'm not really thinking of the next big thing yet. I'll just wait until it comes to me, but I'm sure it will soon. I don't know.
How about you, Nathyn?
The one thing, it's funny because like I've met so many people on YouTube, and the one thing everybody tells me is like it's so hard to come up with ideas. I have ideas backlogged that I could probably film for a whole year and still have ideas left over. I find it very easy to create stuff, but the thing is, actually putting it into motion is the hard part. Because like I've told everybody, I hate editing. I just don't like it because I loved it in high school when I was learning to edit. But then when you get into the whole YouTube game and it's just all you all the time, and you're just looking at yourself every single video, depending on how many you put out a week, it's just like taking the time to learn new stuff and make your videos better. You really have to want to put in that time. And I do that from time to time, but sometimes you just want to put a video out and you're just like, you know what, I'm going to just make something real quick and do it. But I have plenty of videos lined up. Nothing of this scale, not anytime soon at least. But I have a bunch of small skit videos that are going to be coming out. People want to see more Andy, so I got to put some more Andy out there for the people. I have some other characters that people want to see too. So it's going to be a lot of skit material. I do a show called Topic Tuesday where I'll just voice my opinions on stuff, but in a very, I don't know, how would you put it, Aaron?
Just a very you way, like you just say what you want to say.
Yeah, I kind of just, I don't know. Everybody, the one thing I get the most is everybody says I make an 8-minute video seem shorter. Because for the life of me, I cannot make videos like under 4 minutes. It's so hard. I just say so much. Aaron knows that with all the amount of footage I sent him. So yeah. But I don't know. So it's just kind of be. I've had times where I'm like, all right, this is going to be this video this week, and then I think of another video. I'm like, nope, that's going to be this video this week. So
I think we both have projects that we're excited for, and we're glad that this is over. That we can just focus and keep creating stuff to where if people do see the doc and find our channels, we're still uploading, so they stick around. So we're just excited to move on now. But yeah.
Talking about moving on. We've been at this for almost 2 hours.
Wow.
Really?
If we're at this for 8 more minutes, it's going to be 2 hours. Is there anything you would like to talk about we haven't talked about? Anything on a short list?
I mean, the only question that I've gotten from people really when I asked about questions was on a Facebook question, and someone asked who did the voiceover work, and I guess they didn't wait and watch the credits, but that was a friend that I met at VidCon last year, Rob Michael Hugel. He lives in New York, and he's actually working on a huge passion project right now himself, the I Hate Being Single series. So I guess I'd give him a little plug there, because he went above and beyond. Just, I know he's super busy filming that right now, and that's a funded project. He did what did they raise, like 12 or 13,000 for that?
Yeah, they were very short of their goal.
He definitely he helped us out a lot there. We just knew his voice would be perfect for it, and so that's the only thing I have to really say in order to answer any questions. But other than that, I think we covered a lot of stuff.
Has anybody tweeted you out any questions?
No, not that I know of.
No, not that I know of either.
No, we tweeted it yesterday, but some people were just really busy. I haven't got anything.
And I don't see anybody that has been using the Q&A tab on the trailer that's on the event landing page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess we are at the end.
Cool, this has been a lot of fun.
So, you why don't you plug yourself?
Go for it.
Go ahead, Nathan.
You first. I called it.
I think I'm already plugged in. The lower thirds. That's my Twitter right there. It's just Breaking GBK. I know I'm pretty much Breaking GBK on everything. So, like I said, when I was talking to you guys before we went live, I don't really do much on like Vine and Instagram. Really, I keep people updated on what I'm doing on Instagram more than Vine. But I'm basically Breaking GBK on all those, and then of course YouTube.com/BreakingGBK as well. So.
Okay, Breaking GBK, what does that mean? What does it mean?
Oh, we're getting a whole new thing. It's funny because that channel was around the time where I actually watched Ray William Johnson from Equals 3. I don't know if you're familiar with him. And at the time he had a vlogging channel called Breaking NYC for Breaking New York City. And I live in Great Bend, Kansas, so it's GBK. And so I made the channel Breaking GBK. And so... I've just kept it. A lot of people ask why, but eventually when I move, I'll just say, well, I broke out of Great Bend, Kansas. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think I read on Twitter or Facebook you're moving.
Well, yeah, eventually. Yeah, I just was saying that I want to do some more music video stuff when I end up moving, but I'm not quite sure where I'll end up. I'm going to be going to Maine to do some film stuff, but I'm not going to be there for very long, so... We'll see where the road takes me. So.
Okay, Nathan?
Yeah, okay. I'm on Twitter most of the time, so that's where anybody can find me. All my social medias are Juice from the Box, except for Facebook, which is going to be Nathyn Medina, of course, because they don't let you change stuff. But yeah, you can find me on there. I don't use Facebook a lot. Twitter would probably be my best thing. YouTube, I upload every week on youtube.com/juicefromthebox. But yeah, follow me and I will be myself. That's the best way to...
And if people see you at Vidcon?
Oh, come say hi. If anybody sees me at Vidcon, I love to chat people. I love meeting new people. We can become best friends, and yeah. That's
how about a hashtag that people could follow when you're at Vidcon? You guys got a hashtag at all?
Hashtag...
What it takes... Hashtag
Probably.
What it takes, would that be?
What it takes, or something like that. Yeah.
Keep that alive.
Or the WIT crew, or something. If we're all walking around together, we can say, "Come meet the WIT crew," or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I don't want to be there. Yeah.
If someone sees us, by all means, come up, because I mean, I know that's only. I think one person recognized me for the burrito thing last year, but then again, like I said, I didn't have much out at the time. But if someone sees us. We're super, personable. We'll talk to you, and we want to meet as many people as we can, because that's the beauty of VidCon. So,
yeah,
for sure.
Okay, well, thanks so much, Aaron and Nathan, for killing about 2 hours with me today.
No problem.
Well, thank you, Jack. It was a blast talking about it.
Good time.
And we'll have links, and hopefully, if you do watch this video, you can do timestamps so that people won't have to watch the whole thing. They can just go to those areas that they have an interest in. So you can put timestamps in the comments, and links to things that we talked about can also go in the comments as well.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, here I am. I'll say goodbye. Goodbye, Nathyn. Goodbye, Aaron.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
All right, man.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you. All right.
Thanks.
See ya. Yeah, bye.